Namo Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajacharya Ashtattar Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I hope all you are doing well. Today we'll be reading from text 69 from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yesterday we read till text 68. So before we start for today's session, we will pray first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naranchaivo Narattamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatum Jayamudirahe. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So let's begin. Please listen very carefully. So yesterday we read till text 68. সব অবতারের করি সামান্য লক্ষণ তার মধ্যে কৃষ্ণচন্দ্রের করিল গণন. The Bhagavatam describes the symptom and deed of the incarnation in general and counts Sri Krishna among them. Text 69. তবে সুত গোসাই মনে পাঞ্ছা বড় ভয় যার যে লক্ষণ তাহা করিল নিশ্চয়. Tabi, then Sutta Goswami, Mone, in the mind, Pan, obtaining, Bada, great, Bada, fear, Bada, Yara, of whom, Ye, which, Lakshana, symptom, Taha, that, Karila, he made, Nischaya, certainly. This made Sutta Goswami greatly apprehensive. Therefore, he distinguished each incarnation by its specific symptom. টেক্সট 70 অবতার সব পুরুষের কলা অংশ স্বয়ং ভগবান কৃষ্ণ সর্ব অবতংশ সব অবতার সব পুরুষের কলা অংশ স্বয়ং ভগবান কৃষ্ণ সর্ব অবতংশ অবতার দ্য ইনকার্নেশন সব অল পুরুষেরা অব দ্য পুরুষ অবতার কলা দ্য পার্ট অফ প্ল্যানারি পোর্শন অংশ দ্য প্ল্যানারি পোর্শন Swayam himself, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality Godhead, Krishna, Lord Krishna, Sarva of all, Avatamsha, Christ. All the incarnation of Godhead are plenary portion or part of the plenary portion of the Purusha Avatara. But the primeval Lord is Sri Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of all incarnation. All the incarnation of Godhead are plenary portion of or the part of plenary portion of the Purusha Avatara. But the primeval Lord is Sri Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of all incarnation. Text 71. পূর্বপক্ষ কহে তোমার ভালো তো ব্যাখ্যান পরব্যম নারায়ণ স্বয়ং ভগবান পূর্বপক্ষ কহে তোমার ভালো তো ব্যাখ্যান পরব্যম নারায়ণ স্বয়ং ভগবান পূর্বপক্ষে অপোজিট সাইড কহে সেজ তোমার ইয়োর ভালো নাইস তো সার্টেনলি ব্যাখ্যান এক্সপোজিশন Paravyama situated in the spiritual sky, Narayana, the Lord Narayana, Swayam himself, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. An opponent may say, this is your interpretation, but actually Supreme Lord is Narayana, who is in the transcendental realm. The opponent may say, this is your interpretation, but actually the Supreme Lord is Narayana, who is the transcendental, who is in the transcendental realm. Text 72. তেহ আসি কৃষ্ণরূপে করেন অবতার এই অর্থ শ্লোকে দেখি কি আর বিচার তেহ অসি তেহ আসি কৃষ্ণরূপে করেন অবতার এই অর্থ শ্লোকে দেখি কি আর বিচার তেহ আসি কৃষ্ণ রূপে করেন অবতার, এই অর্থ শ্লোকে দেখি কি আর বিচার। Teha means he, Narayana, Asi, coming, Krishna Rupe, in the form of Lord Krishna, Karena, makes avatar incarnation. A, this, Artha, meaning, Sloke, in the verse, Dekhi, I see, Ki, what, are, other, Vichara, consideration. He, Narayana, incarnate as Lord Krishna. He is the meaning of the verse as I see it. There is no need for further consideration. He, Narayana, incarnate as a Lord Krishna. He is the meaning of the verse as I see it. There is no need for further consideration. Text 73. তারে কহে কেন করো কূর্তকানুমান শাস্ত্র বিরুদ্ধার্থ প্রভু না হয় প্রমাণ। তারে কহে কেন করো কূর্তকানুমান শাস্ত্র বিরুদ্ধার্থ প্রভু না হয় প্রমাণ। তারে of him কহে on says কেন why করে you make কুতর্ক of a fallacious argument अनुमान conjecture शास्त्र विरुद्ध contrary to scripture अर्थ a meaning कभू at any time na not higher is pramana evidence. To such a misguided interpreter, we may reply. To such a misguided interpreter, we may reply, why should you suggest such a fallacious logic? An interpretation is never accepted as evidence if it is opposed the principle of scripture. To a to a misguided interpreter, we may reply, why should you suggest such fallacious logic? An interpretation is never accepted as evidence if it is opposed the principle of scripture. Text 74. अनुवाद मनुक्ता तु न विधेय मुदीरयेत् न हलब्धस्पन्दं किंचित कुत्रचित् प्रतितिष्ठति अनुवाद मनुक्ता तु न विधेय मुदीरयेत् न हलब्धस्पन्दं किंचित कुत्रचित् प्रतितिष्ठति anu anubdha anudhabam the subject anukta not staying to but no not vidyam the predicate vidayam the predicate udhirayat one who speak no not he certainly halabdha spandam without a secure position kinchit something uh, kutrachit anywhere pratitishthati stand. One should not state a predicate before its subject. One should not state a predicate before its subject, for it cannot thus stand without proper support. One should not state a predicate before its subject, for it cannot thus stand without proper support. This rhetorical rule appear in the Ekadasi Tattva, the 13th canto, in the connection with the metaphorical use of word. An unknown object should not be put before the known subject because the object has no meaning if the subject is not first given. An unknown object should not be put before the known subject because the object has no meaning if the subject is not first given. Text 75. অনুবাদ না করিয়া অনুবাদ না করিয়া না করি বিধেয় আগে অনুবাদ করি পশ্চাদিধেয় অনুবাদ না করিয়া না করি বিধেয় আগে অনুবাদ কহি পশ্চাৎ বিধেয় অনুবাদ the subject না কহিয়া not saying na not kohi I say vidya the predicate age first sorry age first anuvada the subject kahi I say paschat afterward vidya the predicate If I do not state a subject, I do not state a predicate. First I speak the former, then I speak the latter. If I do not state a subject, I do not state a predicate. First I speak the former and then I speak the latter. টেক্সট 76 বিদেহ করিতারে যে বস্তু অজ্ঞাত অনুবাদ কহিতারে যেই হয় জ্ঞাত বিদেহ বিদেহ কহিয়ে তার বিদেহ কহিয়ে তারে যে বস্তু অজ্ঞাত অনুবাদ কহিতারে যেই হয় জ্ঞাত বিদেহ দ্য প্রেডিকেট কহি আই সে তারে টু হিম ইয়ে দ্যাট বস্তু থিং অজ্ঞাত unknown অনুবাদ দ্য সাবজেক্ট কহি আই সে তারে টু হিম a that which higher is jnata known. The predicate of a sentence is what is known to the reader, whereas the subject is what is known to him. The predicate of a sentence is what is known to the reader, whereas the subject is what is known to him. Take 77. জৈছে কহি এই বিপ্র পরম পণ্ডিত বিপ্র অনুবাদ ইহার বিদেহ পাণ্ডিত্য ইয়ৈছে কহি এই বিপ্র পরম পণ্ডিত বিপ্র অনুবাদ ইহার বিদেহ পাণ্ডিত্য ইয়ৈছে just as কহি I say এই this বিপ্র ব্রাহ্মণ পরম great pandit the learned man বিপ্র the brahmana অনুবাদ subject ইহারে of this vidya predicate panditya erudition. For example, we may say, this Vipra is greatly learned man. This Vipra is greatly learned man. In this sentence, Vipra is a subject and predicate is his erudition. বিপ্রত্য বিখ্যাত আর পাণ্ডিত্য অজ্ঞাত অতএব বিপ্র আগে পাণ্ডিত্য পশ্চাৎ বিপ্রত্য বিখ্যাত আর পাণ্ডিত্য অজ্ঞাত অতএব বিপ্র আগে পাণ্ডিত্য পশ্চাৎ বিপ্রত্য দ্য কোয়ালিটি অফ বিইং বিপ্র বিপ্রত্য ওয়েল নোন তার হিজ পাণ্ডিত্য erudition अज्ञात unknown অতএব therefore বিপ্র the word বিপ্র আগে first পাণ্ডিত্য erudition পশ্চাৎ afterward. The man's being a Vipra is known, but his erudition is unknown. Therefore, the person is identified first and his erudition later. Text 79. তেইছে ইহ অবতার সব হইল জ্ঞাত কার অবতার এই বস্তু অবিজ্ঞাত তেইছে ইহ অবতার সব হইল জ্ঞাত কার অবতার এই বস্তু অবিজ্ঞাত তেইছে in the same way ইহে these avatar incarnation সব all হইল were জ্ঞাত known কর whose avatar incarnation এই this বস্তু thing অবিজ্ঞাত অবিজ্ঞাত means unknown. In this way, all the incarnation were known, and whose incarnation they are unknown. Whose incarnation they are unknown. এতে এতে শব্দে অবতারের আগে অনুবাদ পুরুষের অংশ পাছে বিধেয় সংবাদ এতে শব্দে অবতারের আগে অনুবাদ পুরুষের অংশ পাছে বিধেয় সংবাদ এতে শব্দে in this word এতে this avatar of this incarnation আগে first अनुवाद the subject purusha of the purusha avatar amsa plenary portion pache afterward video of the predicate sambad message. First the word iti. First the word iti. These establish the subject of the incarnation. The plenary portion of the Purusha avatar follow as the predicate. First the kind of word iti. These establish the subject, the incarnation. Then plenary portion of the Purusha avatar follow as the predicate. তৈছে কৃষ্ণ অবতার ভিতরে হইল জ্ঞাত, তাহার বিশেষ জ্ঞান সেই অবিজ্ঞাত। তৈছে কৃষ্ণ অবতার ভিতরে হইল জ্ঞাত, তৈছে কৃষ্ণ অবতার ভিতরে হইল জ্ঞাত, তাহার বিশেষ জ্ঞান সেই অবিজ্ঞাত। তৈছে, ইন দ্য সেম ওয়ে কৃষ্ণ, লর্ড কৃষ্ণ অবতার 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 ভিতরে, among the incarnation হইল was জ্ঞাত known, তাহারে of him বিষয় জ্ঞান specific knowledge, say that অবিজ্ঞাত unknown. In the same way, when Krishna was first counted among the incarnation, specific knowledge about him was still unknown. In the same way, when Krishna was first counted among the incarnation, specific knowledge about him was still unknown. টেক্সট 82, অতএব কৃষ্ণ শব্দ আগে অনুবাদ, অতএব কৃষ্ণ শব্দ আগে অনুবাদ, স্বয়ং ভগবত্তা পিছয়ে পিছে বিধেয় সংবাদ। অতএব কৃষ্ণ শব্দ আগে অনুবাদ, স্বয়ং ভগবত্তা পিছে বিধেয় সংবাদ। অতএব therefore Krishna Sabda, the word Krishna, age, first, Anuvada, the subject, Swayam Bhagavatta, being himself the Supreme Personality Godhead, piche, afterward, Videya of the predicate, Samvada, the message. Translation, therefore, first the word Krishna appear as a subject, followed the predicate, describing him as the original personality of Godhead. Therefore, first the word Krishna appear as the subject, followed by the predicate, describing him as the original personality of Godhead. টেক্সট 83, কৃষ্ণের স্বয়ং ভগবত্তা ইহা হইল সাধ্য, স্বয়ং ভগবানের কৃষ্ণত্ব হইল বাধ্য। কৃষ্ণের স্বয়ং ভগবত্তা ইহা হইল সাধ্য, স্বয়ং ভগবানের কৃষ্ণত্ব হইল বাধ্য। কৃষ্ণের অব লর্ড কৃষ্ণা স্বয়ং ভগবত্তা, the quality of being himself of supreme personality of Godhead, iha, this হইল was sadhya to be established, স্বয়ং ভগবানেরই of the personality of the Godhead, কৃষ্ণত্ব, the quality of being Lord Krishna, হইল was বাধ্য, obligatory. This established that Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. This original personality of Godhead, therefore, the necessarily Krishna. This established that Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. The original personality of Godhead is therefore necessarily Sri Krishna. টেক্সট 84, কৃষ্ণ যদি অংশ হইত অংশী নারায়ণ, তবে বিপরীত হইতে সুতের বচন। কৃষ্ণ যদি অংশ হইত অংশী নারায়ণ, তবে বিপরীত হইত সুতের বচন। Krishna, Lord Krishna, Yadi, if, Amsha, planetary portion, Hoite, were Amshi in the source of expansion, Narayana, Lord Narayana, Tabe, then Viparita, the reverse, Haita, would have been Sutera of the Sutta Goswami, Vachana, the statement. Had Krishna been the planetary portion and the Narayana is the primeval Lord, the statement of Sutta Goswami would have been reversed. টেক্সট 85, নারায়ণ অংশী যেই স্বয়ং ভগবান, তেহ শ্রীকৃষ্ণ ওইছে করিত ব্যাখ্যান। নারায়ণ অংশী যেই স্বয়ং ভগবান, তেহ শ্রীকৃষ্ণ ওইছে করিত ব্যাখ্যা। নারায়ণ, লর্ড নারায়ণ, অংশী, the source of all incarnation, এই, who, স্বয়ং ভগবান, himself the supreme personality Godhead, তেহ, he, Sri Krishna, ওইছে in such a way, করিত would have made Byakhyan, explanation. Thus, he would have said Narayana, the source of all incarnation, is the original personality of Godhead. He has appeared as a Sri Krishna. Text 86, Bhrom, Pramad, Vipralipsa, Karana Patava, আর্য বিজ্ঞ বাক্যে নাহি দোষ এসব। ভ্রম, প্রমাদ, বিপ্রলিপ্সা, করণা পাটব, আর্য বিজ্ঞ বাক্যে নাহি দোষ এসব। ভ্রম, মিস্টেক, প্রমাদ, ইলিউশন, বিপ্রলিপ্সা, চিটিং, করণা পাটব, imperfectness of the senses. Amsa of the authoritative sage. Vijnana Vakya in the wise speech. Nahi, not. Dosa, fault. A, this, sub, all. Mistake, illusion, cheating, and defective perception do not occur in the saying of the authoritative sages. Mistake, illusion, cheating, defective perception do not occur in the saying of authoritative sages. Srimad Bhagavatam has listed the avatara, the plenary expansion of the Purusha, and Lord Krishna appear among them. But Bhagavatam further explained Krishna's specific portion as a supreme personality Godhead. Since Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, reason the argument established that his position is always supreme. Had Krishna been a planetary expansion of Narayana, the original verse would have been definitely composed. Indeed, its order would have been reversed. But there cannot be mistaken illusion, cheating, imperfect perfection in the word of liberated sages. Therefore, there is no mistake in the statement that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality Godhead. The Sanskrit statement of Srimad Bhagavatam are all the transcendental sound. Srila Vyas Deva reveal this statement after perfect realization, and therefore they are perfect. For liberated sages like Vyasdeva never commit error in the rhetorical arrangement. Unless one accepts his fact, there is no use in trying to obtain help from the revealed scripture. Brahma refers to false knowledge or mistake, such as accepting a rope as a snake or the oyster sail as a gold. Pramana refers to inattention or misunderstanding of reality, and the Vipra is a cheating propensity. Karana Pataba refers to imperfection of the material senses. There are many examples of such imperfection, and the eye cannot see that which is very distant or very small. One cannot see his own eyelid, which is the closest thing to his eye. And if one is disturbed by the disease like jaundice, he see everything to be yellow. Similarly, the ear cannot hear distant sound. Since the personality Godhead and his plenary portion and the self-realized devotee are all transcendental situated, they cannot be misled by such deficiencies. Text 87. বিরুদ্ধার্থ কহ তুমি কহিতে কর রোষ তোমার অর্থে অবি অবিমৃষ্ট বিধেয়াংশ দোষ বিরুদ্ধার্থ কহ তুমি কহিতে কর রোষ তোমার অর্থে অবিষ্ট বিধেয়াংশ দোষ বিরুদ্ধার্থ কন্ট্রারি মিনিং কহ সে তুমি ইউ কহিতে পয়েন্টিং আউট কর ইউ ডু রোষ অ্যাঙ্গার তোমার ইয়োর অর্থ ইন দ্য মিনিং of Abhimrishta Vidyangsha of the unconsidered predicate portion, dosa, the fault. You say something contradictory and become angry when this is pointed out. Your explanation has the defect of misplaced predicate. This is the conditioned adjustment. This is unconsidered adjustment. You say something contradictory and become angry when this is pointed out. Your explanation has the same defect of the misplaced predicate. This is an unconsidered adjustment. Text 88. যাহার ভগবত্তা হইতে অন্যের ভগবত্তা স্বয়ং ভগবান শব্দের তাহাতেই সত্তা যার ভগবত্তা হইতে অন্যের ভগবত্তা স্বয়ং ভগবান শব্দের তাহাতেই সত্তা ইহার of whom ভগবত্তা the quality of being supreme personality godhead হইতে from অন্যের of others ভগবত্তা the quality of being the supreme personality godhead স্বয়ং ভগবত্তা শব্দের of the word of স্বয়ং ভগবান তাহারে in that satta the presence. Only the personality of Godhead, the source of all other divinity, is eligible to be designated Swayam Bhagavan or the primeval Lord. Only the personality Godhead, the source of all other divinities, is eligible to be designed is eligible to be designated Swayam Bhagavan or the Primeval Lord. Text 89. দ্বীপ হইতে জৈছে বহুদ্বীপের জ্বলন মূল এক দ্বীপ তাহা করিয়ে গণন দ্বীপ হইতে জৈছে বহুদ্বীপের জ্বলন মূল এক দ্বীপ তাহা করিয়ে গণন দ্বীপ a lamp হইতে from yaiche just as বহু many দ্বীপের of lamp জ্বলন lighting মূল the original ek one deep lamp tahara that koriye I make ganana consideration. When from one candle make other are lit, I consider that one is original. The Brahma Samhita chapter 5 verse 46 states the Vishnu Tattva or the principle of the absolute personality Godhead is like a lamp because of expansion equal thereof origin of all respect. A burning lamp can light innumerable other lamp and although they will not be inferior still the lamp from which the other are lit must be considered the original. Similarly, the supreme personality God expanded himself in the plenary form of the Vishnu Tattva, and therefore they are equally powerful. An original powerful personality Godhead is considered the source. This example are the appearance of the qualitative incarnation of Lord Shiva and Brahma. According to the Jiva Goswami, the Shambhu Tattva, or the principle of Lord Shiva, is like a lamp covered with a carbon because of his being in charge in the mode of ignorance. The illumination from which the lamp is very minute. Therefore, the power of Shiva cannot compare to the Vishnu principle. Text 90. তৈছে সব অবতারের কৃষ্ণ সে কারণ আর এক শ্লোকে শোনো কুব্যাখ্যা খণ্ডন তৈছে সব অবতারের কৃষ্ণ সে কারণ আর এক শ্লোক শোনো কুব্যাখ্যা খণ্ডন তৈছে in the similar way সব all অবতারের of the incarnation Krishna Lord Krishna say he karan the cause or another ek one sloka verse suno please hear Kubyakhya, fallacious explanation, Khandana, refuting. Krishna, in the same way, is the cause of all cause and all incarnation. Please hear another verse to defeat all misinterpretation. Krishna, in the same way, is the cause of all cause and all incarnation. Please hear another verse to defeat all misinterpretation. So here we concluded reading of Bhaktivedanta purport for the day from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I hope all you understood. Please let's jump into the inside. Please listen till the end. Hare Krishna and thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
So here's a huge question from a classic Vedic text. Is Krishna just one of many divine incarnations, or is he the ultimate source of all of them? Now, what's fascinating is that the answer isn't just a matter of belief. Nope, it's actually a puzzle that gets solved by a brilliant and super precise rule of ancient logic. Let's dive in and break it all down. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the scriptural puzzle that gets the whole debate started. Then we'll check out the arguments on both sides. Next, and this is the cool part, we'll uncover a key rule of language, a sort of rhetorical secret, and then we'll use it to solve the mystery. We'll wrap things up with a really powerful analogy and a look at why this kind of detail is so important in the first place. All right, so to really get this, we've got to go back to the very beginning, to the source of all the confusion. It all starts with a simple list in the scripture, a list that seems to point in one direction, but is actually setting us up for something much, much deeper. Let's try to put this in a way we can all relate to. Imagine you get a list of a company's most important employees, right? And the CEO's name is on that list. Does the fact that they're on the list mean they're not the CEO? Of course not. They can be a key part of the team and the very source of that team. Well, that's the exact logical puzzle we're looking at here. Okay, so here's where it all kicks off. This foundational text, the Srimad Bhagavatam, is laying out all these different divine incarnations, and boom, Krishna's name is right there, included among them. Now, your first reaction might be, okay, well, he must be one of many. But see, the text is being clever. It's setting up a question that it's about to answer in a really profound way. And you know what's really wild? The person who's telling the story, a sage named Sutta Goswami, knew this would be confusing. He saw it coming a mile away. The text says he became greatly apprehensive because he knew he'd just laid a logical trap, and he had to clear it up right away before people got the wrong idea. So what does the text do? It's pretty clever, actually. It introduces a kind of opponent character. This person makes the most obvious, face-value argument, an argument that sounds totally reasonable, but, as we'll see, misses the whole point. So this sets up the big debate, right? Two totally opposite ways of looking at it. The opponent says Narayana is the source and Krishna is one of his incarnations. But the proponent's view is the exact reverse. No, Krishna is the original source and everyone else comes from him. So the opponent just lays it out with total confidence. They basically say, look, it's simple. The Supreme Lord is Narayana, he incarnates as Krishna, that's what it means. Case closed, we don't need to talk about this anymore. But that kind of dismissive confidence, it's about to run headfirst into a fundamental rule of how language actually conveys truth. So how do you settle a debate like this? Well, the answer the text gives is just beautiful. It doesn't rely on some secret knowledge or a hidden meaning. It all comes down to a clear, undeniable rule of grammar and rhetoric, a rule about how we're built to communicate. And the comeback to this opponent is just brilliant. It's basically like saying, hey, your personal take on this is interesting, but it doesn't count if it literally breaks the established rules of language. In other words, an interpretation that goes against the principles of rhetoric isn't really an interpretation, it's just a mistake. Okay, now stick with me, because to crack this code, we need to get two key ideas from ancient grammar. The first one is called the subject, or anuvada. The easiest way to think about this is that it's the known information. It's the thing in the sentence that we both already know about, the thing we're starting with. And then there's the second piece of the puzzle, the predicate, or videya. This is the good stuff. This is the new information, the big reveal, the unknown part of the sentence that tells you something new about the subject. It's the whole reason for saying anything at all. So this all boils down to one foundational rule for clear communication. First, you establish the subject, the thing that's already known. Then, and only then, do you introduce the predicate, the new information. It's so intuitive when you think about it. You can't tell me a secret about someone until you first tell me who you're talking about. The text gives us a perfect, super simple example to lock this in. If I say to you, this Vipra is greatly learned, what's the subject? It's the Vipra, the wise person. He's standing right there, he's the known thing. And what's the new information, the predicate? It's the fact that he's greatly learned. You state the known to introduce the unknown. Simple as that. Okay, you ready? This is the moment. This is where we take that simple rule and apply it to the original verse, and everything is just going to click right into place. This is the big aha moment. So let's rewind for a second. In the original situation, what did the audience already know? They knew about the list of incarnations. That was the subject, the common ground. But what was the big mystery? What was the burning question that needed an answer? It was, okay, but whose incarnations are they? That was the great unknown. And bam, there it is, the big reveal. The verse takes Krishna, the person everyone recognizes from the list, and makes him the subject. He's the known quantity. And then it delivers the new, mind-blowing information, the predicate, that this Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. You see? The grammar itself is the evidence. Krishna isn't just on the list, he's the source of the list. And just to hammer this point home, the text shows us exactly how the verse would have been written if the opponent was right. It would have started with Narayana, the original Godhead, as the known subject, and then revealed that he has appeared as Krishna. But it doesn't say that. The actual sentence structure proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the proponent's view is the correct one. And just when you think it can't get any clearer, the text wraps it all up with this absolutely beautiful and powerful analogy that just seals the deal. Just think about that image for a second. It's so simple but so powerful. You have one original candle, one flame. And from that one flame, you can light thousands, millions of other candles. Every single new flame is just as bright, just as powerful, just as real. But you can never forget there was one original. So, okay, we've gone deep into ancient grammar and sentence structure, and you might be asking yourself, why? Why does any of this matter so much? What's the big takeaway here?
And the reason it matters is because in this tradition, language from a sage isn't just casual talk. It's believed to be perfectly constructed, intentionally free from all the little mistakes and biases that cloud our normal human speech. The grammar isn't just a box for the message. The grammar is the message.
And this kind of precision is there to avoid what the tradition calls the 4 specific defects of, being human. The tendency to make simple mistakes, the tendency to be inattentive or in illusion, the desire to cheat, and of course the fact that our senses are imperfect. This careful language is like a filter, ensuring the truth comes through pure.
And that's the thought I really want to leave you with. This whole thing was a masterclass in how sentence structure itself can reveal a deep, profound truth. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a distinction this important can be hiding in plain sight, just in the basic grammar, what other complex truths might be waiting for us, encoded in the very structure of the words we see and hear every single day?